My name's Jeff Jacobs, and I am a carpenter, cabinet maker, handyman. I've been doing that for about 30 years, and I picked up this craft about 25 years ago when I was visiting the folk festival on the mall, Smithsonian Folk Festival, and I walked by a man doing this. He was from Michigan. Michigan was a featured state. I caught out of the side of my eye him doing some of this process, and I thought, wait a minute. This is different. And I went back and we chatted and I got to know him and he gave me some tips and block of wood, the butcher, and I was on my way. That was 25 years ago and I have done it as a kind of a fun hobby, give it as a gift thing. And then in the last year I wanted to see if I could up it a little bit and see if there's a future for it. And so I've been doing the Arlington Flea Market a lot, and I'm new here at the Eastern Market. What's particularly interesting about this is seeing the process. But when you realize there's no glue, it's one solid piece of wood, you can't imagine how it's done until you see it's done, how it's done. And so I definitely get people interested to see it done.
Every weekend.
Why is that?
I come to get fresh vegetables and fruit. It's just a nice outing for my dogs and myself. We can come out here, socialize. I make friends, they make friends. They get far more attention than I do. There's always something different. On different days, it's something. There's different vendors here on Saturdays and on Sundays, so I just come all the time. This is chaos, and this is malice.
Chaos and malice?
Yes.
Do the names describe the personality? Or
Not at all. Not at all.
And do they like the market?
They love it. They, like I said, they make friends. They get more attention here than any person ever does. I've been coming here for about 12 years.
I got this little display here. Basically, I start with a block of wood. So here's our block of wood. And then I cut a basic profile of the body of the bird. Then I split off the excess of it, and then I start cutting it with knives, saws and knives, and roughing it out, and sand it. Then I split it. You can see all the splits. I'm not sawing it. I am not cutting it. I am splitting it. I'm taking advantage of the grain of the wood. And then I soak it in water. As you can see, it's fanned. I can start fanning it. Wet wood will bend. And then I lock it in place. And I just do that back and forth. I let it dry. Then I dip it in lacquer, put a hanger on it, and there it is. Tell people a typical bird is a 2-hour hands-on project, 2-day process. Because I'm gotta wait for the wood to soak, I gotta wait for wood to dry, I gotta dip it in lacquer, let that dry.
Make functional wall shelves made out of recycled and salvaged materials, and they're for keys or for dog leashes or for whatever you can think of that you need. It's for everything that you need a place to put it, but you need to find it every day. They're supposed to be sort of small narratives. A lot of times I start with the photograph or the image, and then I work with the material that goes into the tray and the material that goes on the edging to make a complete story or a picture. A picture showing women being measured to make sure their skirts aren't too high, and then there'll be a yardstick as an edging and a map of DC where the picture was taken. Sometimes they're pictures of places, and I put the map where the picture was taken and then appropriate edging like a license plate. Sometimes it's a little bit more obscure, like a picture of a hamster and a camera. Then there'll be an old snapshot in the tray, and then the edging is brushed aluminum to look like the 35 millimeter cans that film used to come in. I've been at the market since 2004, so I guess that's going on 8 years. I fill a niche and have very steady business at the market. A lot of it comes from having been here for so long. I have a lot of people who have seen my work over the years, so when a wedding comes up or they need a graduation present, I have a lot of people who come and find something that's unique that they can't just go out and sign on a register for. Eastern Market's well known in the sort of travel industry, so a lot of people who are just visiting DC who find themselves on the Hill visiting the Smithsonian or the monuments will come by Eastern Market because they hear it's an interesting place to visit. The photographs are the start. I like to search through a lot of different archives. A lot of the photos I use are old newspaper photos. It's just, I like looking at the old images and I like the nostalgia and I like the patina of the old materials, the old coffee cans and the age that they seem to carry with them. It's sort of like making new antiques out of old stuff.
It's very refreshing. I live in New York, so this is a nice little, it's cheaper than New York and the food's very nice and delicious. And it's a beautiful day out, so it's a good way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah. This is probably my, I would say, 4th or 5th time here. I just moved here recently, so I had been here a couple times, and usually I like to bring people here because there's a lot to offer people if you're into art or jewelry or food or produce. There's a lot of great things to buy and variety and things you can't really find at the local supermarket. It might be a little bit more expensive, but you really get what you pay for. So
I like this vibe. I'm a painter as well, so I'm always sort of inspired when I go to these types of things, and I just appreciate the handmade as opposed to going into a mall and buying stuff that's just manufactured.
Because I like to just browse and also have interaction with the artists and see, how they started working with the material they did or what inspired them. And you could really find just a lot of great things, and you can find a lot of things you need here all in one spot. And it's nice to be around other people. You kind of get a feel for the way DC is, the type of people that are here and what they're looking for. And they ask a lot of different questions that I wouldn't expect. Like last time I was here, there was a couple asking, well, where was this made? You say you got these from India, but where are the beads handmade and how are they manufactured? They're trying to see the process. They're more interested in the process and if your product is really fair trade and if your product's really organic. So they'll delve a lot deeper than people, at least where I grew up, they could care less. So it's a little bit refreshing because you kind of have to be on top of your game if you're going to sell your product as fair trade or organic. So
probably everyone in our neighborhood walks through the market at least once on a Saturday. It's a place to see neighbors. It's a wonderful place to shop. It's a great place to get, if you need a present for someone, you can always find the right present here from a vendor. Lots of vegetables and fruits from the farm. One of the really nice things about, one of the most amazing things about the market is when the market caught on fire, the entire neighborhood came together and supported the rebuilding of the market and the creation of a temporary building. So it was a wonderful example of the neighborliness of the Capitol Hill neighborhood. The city helped a lot with rebuilding, and because of that event, the fire, the street has been blocked off ever since the fire, and that has added, I think, a lot to the experience of shopping because there are no cars, there's a lot more space, more and more vendors are coming, more and more food trucks are coming. So I think that the fact that there are no cars on the street has really, it certainly added to my personal enjoyment.